go again. I've assumed the position. This position. I feel like I'm in this position a lot these days. Okay, so that was actually super weird. Okay, so the dominant follicle kind of looks like it's sandwiched between two other follicles. And I think maybe on the first day they were measuring the two follicles together. It was a bit harder to see. And it's also kind of like my whole ovaries moved out of the way a bit. This is really hard to see. So my follicle's still only measuring 14, but it was also measured on Wednesday at 14 and on Monday at 13. But I think it's more to do with how it's being measured as opposed to whether it's growing or not. But it still means that it's not ready yet, which means I still have more days of waiting and doing more FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. I'm very confused. And I was really hoping that I'd be triggering tonight because we have a holiday coming up. So yeah, I guess we'll wait and see what the doctor says. I guess she'll have to look at what's going on with my hormone levels in my blood because that will influence the decisions as well. So yeah, I guess we'll see what the doctor says. But it's super weird because it's just really hard to measure where that follicle is at the moment, really hard to see. So I don't know. That's why we leave this up to the medical doctors because I don't know. All right, another day, another scan. I feel like these videos are getting a little bit boring and repetitive because I just keep going for scans, but IVF in a lot of ways is really boring and repetitive, except for the bits that are really horrible and once in a lifetime. So yeah, just had another scan. I'll tell John about it later. I just wanted to talk about, so it's interesting, today the woman who normally does the blood was away, hi Caroline, and so we all had to go across the road to the other pathology clinic, and it just happened that we were waiting longer and we were in a much smaller waiting room, which meant that there was all these women sitting around. And so I just sort of said, oh, are we all Lynn's patients? And it was amazing because just that moment of connection opened up all of us to talk to each other. And I don't think the women will mind me sharing a little bit because it was great to meet them. A couple of them already follow us on social media. And I think I was just struck by all the different stories because they started to open up. We had some time that we were sitting there. They started to open up and talk about their experiences, and each of them had an entirely different story. One of them was, all of us happened to be trying for our second children. So everyone already had children. So it made it easier to talk about because it's always hard to talk when you have a child and other people don't. But in this case, everybody had a child, so everybody was talking about what they were going through. Some were just had a lot of failed transfers. I think she was up to her 9th failed transfer. There was another woman there who was being a donor for another couple, so that was amazing to hear her story. And there was another woman there who had lost her son at 25 weeks in her previous pregnancy, and so she is trying to get pregnant again. And she might be watching this, but I just want to comment on how brave she is. Like, I can't imagine losing a baby at that gestation to start with, but then being ready to go again and do it again. It's just amazing. And I think it's so important that we do talk to each other because like they were saying in there, there's so few places where you can talk about it openly. But when you do talk about it, you realize just how many people have been through it, particularly in a fertility clinic waiting room, but in the world too. Everybody has some way that this has touched their lives. Infertility has touched their lives, pregnancy loss has touched their lives, and it's important to keep sharing the stories because we don't want people to feel alone. And if they are watching that, the women that were in the waiting room with me, you know who you are. Like I said, then let's stay in touch. Like, send me a message, because the problem is whenever you meet someone in a fertility clinic, you meet them in the middle of their story. You don't know what the end of their story is. And we pray. I don't really pray, but I always pray that they'll have a happy ending. So I really want to hear when they get to that ending, and hopefully no more pain, no more loss. So yeah, I'll be hoping for those women that I met today, and thanks for sharing your stories with me. It's always really interesting because we have male factor to hear about different types of infertility, different pathways, different journeys. So yeah, keep sharing the stories, and thanks to the women who shared their stories with me today. I'm sorry, this is getting really boring.
It's really hard not being there with you.
That's nice. It's kind of, yeah, I guess you don't see any men around the fertility clinics anymore, or partners, I should say, because of COVID. Anyway.
And we couldn't really leave.
Well, yeah, and because we're a baby now as well. Okay, so a couple of things to tell you, a lot to unpack. So first of all, that follicle, right, there's kind of 3 bunched together, and it's possible that on the first day they were measuring 2 of them together. Right. So it's still only at 14. Yeah. Hasn't grown. Yeah. It kind of looks squished in. Yeah. But I think the problem was they were measuring 2 on the first day. So I went 13, 14, 14.
Yeah, so, okay. So it was probably
and remember
7
I said it looks,
or 10.
Yeah, remember I said it looks septated. And the one on the other side is only 11. So that one's still, but guess what my lining is?
Your lining is 10?
No, it's 8. No, it's only 9.
No, okay.
So the lining's great. It's just, I imagine she's got to look at my hormones to tell when I'm getting close to ovulation, because it's also been really hard to actually see the scans. Like I thought, I saw this on Wednesday, I'm like, it's really hard to see and measure because it's kind of around the back and stuff. So I don't know what they're going to say. Potentially I've got 2 more days of waiting and another scan on Monday. Yeah, well, I don't know, because now it's the weekend as well. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said in my video before, I might just leave that up to the doctors. I don't know what to do in this situation. Time for another repetitive video. All right, I'm going in for my 4th scan of this cycle. And today's a fun one because my bloods have to be back today because I might be triggering tonight. So I have to make sure that I get my bloods done before like the cutoff time, and there was no early appointments at the clinic. So today I get to come in twice. I guess I could go near my house somewhere, but there's not really a blood, like the closest place to go is the clinic. So I've come in for another bloods, and I mean, maybe they won't sneak me in. And then I'll be back late. I have to go home and look after baby and then come back and do another one. So how does anyone have time for this? Honestly, it is all consuming. So anyway, I'm gonna go get my bloods and then I'll be back. Another day, another scan. Hello, Wanda, my old friend. Alright, I'm here for my scan, just waiting for them to come back. I'm really hoping that follicle is gonna be big enough today because I can't wait any longer. This is my 4th scan for the cycle, so really hoping it'll be big enough and that my lining still looks good. Yeah, let's see. We did it! After 4 scans and 5 blood draws, it's finally time to trigger. Everything looks amazing in there. I've got a follicle that's averaging about 19 millimeters. My lining looks amazing. I think it's 8.7 something. Lining looks amazing. Everything looks perfect. We're ready to trigger. Can't wait. Gotta go home. Tell John.
Hey guys, I'm not sure whether I can speak for all men, but I find it really interesting that we're in this because of male factor infertility. And I guess once you actually give your sperm, then my role has to transition. And I have to actually accept the fact that I have to walk my girl through scan after scan. Not an easy transition, but a very necessary one because, as everyone knows, this road is tough. Anyway, love you guys. I just thought I'd drop in here. See ya.
Good morning. So I have just been in for my 6th blood draw for this cycle. 6 in kind of a week, really, 8 days maybe. My poor little veins, so sore. But I successfully got blood out, and actually I'm kind of happy that my doctor's being so careful about pinpointing the timing of ovulation, because obviously we want that to be right. But yeah, when last night John took the call from the nurses and he told me I had to come in for blood again today, I was just like, oh man. But it's okay, it's good. This is all leading towards a good, successful cycle. Hopefully that's the last one though. I'm not giving any more blood.
We're excited. This is it.
Our book just came in the mail.
Oh. I kind of wasn't expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I was just...
What were you expecting? Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Oh, look at this. Such a nice, big, beautiful book. See all the pictures. Where's an illustration? Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Why can't I find any illustrations? There's them. Oh my goodness.
So we wanted a short video.
So it's a long book. It's a long book. Oh wow. It's ready.